Hey guys, Jack here from the Life Fit Studio and back to you again with another mobility video. Today's focus is all about the knees. You'll notice I don't do too many exercises specifically around the knee, and hopefully after today's video you will understand why. So the knee is quite a simple joint. It's just a hinge joint, so just flexion, extension. It does have a degree of rotation as a locking mechanism, but by and large we'll focus mostly on its function of flexion and extension. The thing is with knees, if you're having knee pain or knee issues, generally speaking, the issue isn't the knee. Yeah, the pain might be there, yeah, the damage might be there, but to alleviate the pain and the damage, we need to look at the joints above and below. So the foot has 26 bones and 33 joints, moves in many different directions, and the hip also, you have internal rotation, external rotation, flexion, extension, and a combination of all of those as well. So if we're lacking movements either above or below, the knee generally tends to pick up the slack. So to show you that effect, I'm going to just get you to focus on the knee and my foot. So my arch at the moment is in a nice steady stable position, so as I'm using my knee here, my kneecap should track over the ball of my big toe. But if I have poor control, let's say over my arch, and I go flat on my arch, then what happens to my knee? So now my knee is operating in that space, and as my lower leg is coming up and my upper leg is coming down, that's just applying more pressure to the outside. Same if it's too high, then the knee is coming out here, we get more tension here. Same happens for the hip. So as we're walking, for example, in my glute medius, if my glute medius isn't engaged, isn't active, because maybe I've been sitting down all day in a nice cushioned chair, as I'm moving into the stance phase, what should happen is this should engage so that my belt line remains parallel or even higher. When it's not, well then what happens is that drops. And to counteract that, the knee moves in under our center of mass and again is under a lot more pressure. Notice also how that affects the foot. So the big toe tends then to move towards the other toes, which can lead to bunions and so on, and the foot flattens. Another thing is in rotations in the hip. So anything we can't do there, it's going to pass it on down here. Another thing with the hip that a lot of us don't have good control over is hinging. So if I were to show you a squat pattern, and a lot of people when they're squatting, they don't have the control of hinging in the hips. So when they go down, the knees come way out over the toes. So what happens is, the law of lever is, the knee is now taking way more load away from our center of mass. Whereas if I had control over hinging at the hip, the knees are nice and neutral, they're under my center of mass and they're taking way less pressure. So as I'm here with a hip hinge, my knees are back further. If I don't hip hinge and I go straight down, the knees come way out. So I hope you can see that dynamic. A good way to train yourself with that hip hinge is to get a stick and 3 points of contact, the back of the head, the mid-back, and then the sacrum. To find those 3 points of contact, as you soften the knees, and then you aim to bring your bum to the back of the room and keep looking up. But as you're hinging, you don't want to be dropping down. Just go as far as you can and up and through. This is a great way to stop your spine from compensating as well, and to remove the stick. And again, just this hip hinge. If I were to show you with a dumbbell or with a kettlebell, what should happen if I have a good, so this is really good hamstring strengthening exercise as well. So if I have a good hip hinge, this kettlebell should drop vertically in that space. If I don't, I'll have much more sway. So as I hinge at the hips, that should drop vertically down and vertically up. So that is it for today. That is the knee. Again, if you want to have the highest chance of happy, healthy knees, you need to look at increasing the function of what's above and below, because that takes the workload off. And even 5% of a workload off can make a big difference. It's like, imagine you wake up in the morning and your alarm didn't go off. You forgot to put on the hot water the night before, so you've no hot water for a shower. The kettle is broken. You go out, the car won't start. Then you're stuck in traffic. And you're putting up with this, you haven't lost your cool yet. you're in work, you get given out by your boss, there's lots of things go wrong, you come home, traffic, all of this again, and you come home and there's a dirty cup in the sink. Your favourite mug is in the sink, somebody used it, and then all of the stress of the day bursts out. It wasn't the cup that caused it, it was the accumulation of stress. So think of knee health in the same way. As the hip and the foot aren't doing the work, that stress is constantly accumulating in the knee. And if we came home that day and there was no cup in the sink, we may have been able to mitigate all that daily stress, calm down without any proverbial shit hitting the fan, as they say. So I hope that made sense to you. Again, any questions, feedback, anything you'd like to know, please hit us up. We are on Instagram and Facebook at LifeFit Studios, or hit me up at jackohalloran_IE. So till the next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay strong. Go with love and mind your fellow human. Yours in health.